Hi, I'm Liron Cohen.
And I'm Mimi Torchin.
And you're listening to Lady Parts TV, the podcast.
Whee!
Hi, everybody. How are you doing?
Greetings and salutations. My old greeting. I forgot all about it.
We're happy to be back. And we are taping this way early because I'm going away next week. And so we're taping two podcasts that will be posted, one while I'm still here, but less shows tallied. So we only tallied 16 primetime shows, but out of which 8 were written by women, 50%, and directed 6, which is 37%.
That's not bad at all.
Not a huge amount, but it's okay.
When you get back, we do the podcast. When you get back, we'll have huge.
Well, that still doesn't mean we'll have a lot of women directors. Now, before we get started with today's podcast, I want to mention something that I forgot to mention last week about The Stranger, and it bugged me that I forgot to talk about it. Because with everything that we loved about it, there is one qualification, which is that it bothered me that the show did present women on 3 different occasions as doing crazy things because their men, quote unquote, didn't pay attention to them. I think actually it was said a few times, that phrase, I didn't pay enough attention to her. And it bugged me because we're not plants or pets. We're human beings, and you don't need to pay attention to us. You need to care. You need to love. You need to be involved. You need to help. You need to do a lot of things, but you don't need to pay attention to us like we're children.
All right, so I'm taking issue with this. First of all, they just used the pay attention. And I think that a lot of the things you just mentioned are things that were lacking in these...
plants and children and pets?
No. We need to be loved. We need to be... blah, 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 blah. I think that could be it could be a cautionary tale. Men, don't take your wives for granted. Because they're not just plants. They're not just pets. They're your spouses, your mates, your equals in life, and bad things could happen. Not this bad, one would hope, if you don't treat them with love and respect and pay the fuck attention to them.
So there you have it. 2 interesting kind of points of view about it. Maybe now a week later you've watched it and maybe you have your own opinion. So as always, you can email us at ladypartstv@gmail.com and let us know. Now, moving on to something that I'm very excited about. Last Tango in Halifax, they kind of dropped it on us with a week's notice. The 5th season is finally debuting on BBC One Sunday, February 23rd at 9 p.m. I believe it's a short season. Usually there's 6 episodes, I think. This one looks like it's 4.
Although some British series do 4 episodes.
Yes, but Last Tango itself in previous seasons, I believe, had 6 episodes each season. And then, they had that lame Christmas special last time. Oh God, it was a waste of a Christmas special. And the whole Caroline her new lover, it was
a waste of Last Tango in Paris.
Halifax.
Especially. I wonder if it would be better if it were a little more like Last Tango in Paris.
No. Now, just to remind you, because I did actually just see one person saying that she just now is starting to watch it. So some of you, obviously, this is new to you. It was created by Sally Wainwright. The Sally Wainwright.
The great and magnificent Sally Wainwright.
And we know. Hold on, we'll talk about that as well. It's starring the great Sarah Lancashire, the great Nicola Walker, the great Anne Reid, and Derek Jacobi, who's also wonderful.
Pretty damn great. Have you ever seen his Caligula? Oh, my God.
I'm just saying it's a spectacular cast, and it's a spectacular creator and writer. And yes, we know she did an awful, dreadful thing. Just in case you haven't seen it, we're not going to tell you. Be prepared. I mean, it's still worth your time, especially the first 2 seasons were to die for. Oops. It's just a wonderful, wonderful show. Then it lost its way, and the lesbians had an outcry. But Sally listened. She did really listen. She gave us Gentleman Jack, which I think is more than compensating.
More than compensating. Here's the way I feel anyway, and I feel this way about our politicians. People are not perfect, and we cannot carry grudges unto the grave.
Well, we can, but it would be a waste.
But look what we lose.
Right.
We get Trump. and we get bad television.
Wait. This is at the end of the episode. We have something about that,
and we get bad. We lose some of our great people in television because they just can't take the heat. People, enjoy your lives. Well, get over it.
I mean, there was a time when we actually needed to protest this. Now, if somebody does this now, I would say, come on. I mean, haven't you? You should know by now. You should have consulted. You should have had people on your team who would know better. But Sally was one of the first.
Yes, at the time, it was justified. But I'm just talking about we have to get over things, especially when people prove themselves to be worthy.
And they try to make up for their mistakes. Now, I did not appreciate her explanation at the time as to why she chose to do this, but I'm hoping that really she took everything in and learned. I didn't know that the show could recover and come back from this, but it is, and it seems the trailer makes it look
wonderful.
Very good.
I can't wait.
Caroline has a new love interest. It seems like, I mean, it just kind of hinting at, but a very interesting story with Nicola Walker and an older friend of her father's coming back from the past.
I remember him quite well. He was part of his group.
Yeah,
his
I don't
buddies.
remember him.
Very, very well. And also Celia, the great Anne Reid, is still the crankiest bitch in England, in Halifax.
And we do see her telling Caroline something like, you're not in love again. Or,
she is.
So she's obviously she hasn't learned from that great big lesson she had. It would be interesting to see what they do with her this season in that context.
Yes, I hope so, because really and truly, I love Anne Reid, and I guess you don't have to make a character nice, but I would like to have seen her evolve a tiny bit. She's just gotten crankier. She's gotten older, which I think I have too. So,
but maybe she will learn this season. See. Maybe Caroline will put her in her place, and maybe we'll get some closure also with.
Yeah, maybe the trailer just highlighted her in those. No, but in that particular mode.
But listen, I think that we are due for a kind of a closure on that subject, because this was the official purpose for which the awful thing happened. Yeah. So I would like to see Caroline confront her, because at the time she wasn't ready to confront her. She was in a bad place.
And she needed her.
Right. But I am ready to see her kind of throw herself at her. So anyway, Last Tango in Halifax, premiering on the BBC One, February 23rd. No word yet as to when it will be on PBS, but I'm sure it will be. Just a note, I have heard that the PBS versions for some reason are not entirely the full episode. They do trim some things out of it.
Yes, they probably take a swear word out.
It's ridiculous. It's unfortunate. I hope you can all see the original. I hope you get to see the original. By the way, for this occasion of the 5th season premiere, Netflix did bring back the first seasons, so you can binge on them all now if you'd like.
Well, I might want to watch them again while you're gone.
Oh, I would watch them again too, personally, so maybe we should do it before I go. And now
me. Okay. High Fidelity. It's on Hulu, and all 10 episodes are there. They dropped it on Valentine's Day. I don't know that it's particularly a Valentine's Day kind of a show.
It's kind of an
anti-Valentine's Day kind of a show. It was created by Sarah Kucerka and Veronica West. Okay, yay. It stars Zoe Kravitz, Divine Joy Randolph, who is divine.
She is. She's the best thing about the show.
Oh, God, I love her. Jake Lacey and David H. Holmes. And many of you will remember the movie High Fidelity with John Cusack, and apparently there was also a Broadway show, which I think probably came and went. Anyway, Zoe Kravitz, she buys a record store, and does she own it? Yes, she owns a record store, vinyl, and she's bisexual. Not that the two things have anything to do with each other.
Well, she's bisexual, though, obviously. As expected, most of her affairs are with men. So far.
She's also kind of a cranky girl.
We only made it through the first two episodes.
I have to say, it wasn't our cup up. No. But it has a lot of great music in it. The characters are okay. I love, again, Divine, who works in the record store with her. Zoe Kravitz's character is very cranky.
And moody. And millennial-ish.
But here's my reason for giving it a go. In the book by Nick Hornsby, that everything is based on, the movie, and I'm
Nick
sure...
Hornby, I believe.
Oh, Nick Hornby, excuse me. And I'm sure the Broadway show, the main character was a man. And they have taken it and made the main character a woman. And I always say we have to give these shows a chance. We have to show that women can lead shows that were primarily iterated by men. And if you like music, you like Zoe Kravitz, I say give it a go. Not my cup of tea.
Now,
I love Zoe Kravitz.
My 2 cents about it, I actually don't like her. I feel that this is the thing that I liked her most in. I feel that usually she's kind of a very mediocre actress. But my problem with this is that it tries too hard to be Fleabag.
It does.
She breaks the fourth wall every 5 seconds, which I don't appreciate. She's obsessed with finding men to have affairs with. She's obsessed with her love life. She's moody. She's cranky. Really, it's trying too hard to be something else. And it just, to me, it was like at some point, I'm like, I'm not really enjoying this.
And the writers aren't as good of writers as Phoebe Waller-Bridge.
Yeah.
So and
it's not as funny.
No,
Fleabag has a lot of humor.
All of
Fleabag is British and it has that dry humor.
British
this
humor.
Doesn't. So.
And the characters around her in Fleabag were also very interesting.
Right. Here,
these characters
Divine,
are
really.
not interesting except for Divine.
I mean, again, it might go somewhere.
Divine.
It might go somewhere which we can't see yet, but it didn't compel us to keep watching. Mm-mm. But that said, it's not our genre. So if it is yours, give it a try. High Fidelity on Hulu already.
It's there, all 10 episodes. On the other hand, here's a show I love. Stumptown, Thursdays on ABC. I'm surprised it's an ABC show. It really, to me, seems more like
NBC.
It seems more streaming service to me.
Really?
I think it does.
It's very...
And if it were a streaming service, it would be a little more sex, and there would be a little more, not violence. The violence is actually kept to a minimum, all things considered.
And by the way, we just want to say, we realize that the show has been on for a while, but we realize that we haven't talked about it. And Mimi really loves it. So.
I really love it. It took me a little while to really love it, but I liked it right from the get-go. It's based on a graphic novel and created by Greg Rucka. And it stars Kobe Smulders, who I absolutely adore.
I think this is the show's
before.
secret weapon, Kobe Smulders. Because otherwise, actually, the rest of the characters are not that interesting, or I don't care about them that much. But Kobe is just so adorable.
Oh my God, she's so fantastic. She's so powerful and yet so flawed. And
she's funny.
She's funny. Oh, that dry wit of hers. She's adorable. She's just kind of iconoclastic, and she's hot. I mean, I think she's really, really sexy and fantastic, and I really like her. It also stars Jake Johnson as her friend Gray, Cole Sibus, who plays Ansel, her
brother who has Down
syndrome, high-functioning, very good actor. Adrian Martinez, Mole. And is that really his name?
No, it's not his name. I put it down there as Mole so you can tell a story.
It's Cookie or something like that. But anyway, right after I had seen an episode which was all about his mole sauce. He has a food truck, a Mexican food truck, and he's actually a great chef. We were coming out of our SAG Film Society screening of something, and he was coming in, and I stopped and I pointed at him, and Liron started quaking. Oh my God, is she going to embarrass me?
No, well, you pointed at him and you didn't say anything, and he was like, so he pointed back at you,
and I said mole, and he liked that. Thank God I didn't say, oh, I saw you.
I'm so glad you said mole because
I said mole.
Because when you pointed at him, he pointed back at you as like yeah. And for a moment there, you looked like a groupie. But
so he will. Yeah, I pulled it out of the trash bin. Anyway, he's all about his mole. So Adrian Martinez.
We said that.
We just said him. That's who we were talking about. Tantu Cardinal, who you will remember from and recognize from many things. She's a Native American. Her character's name is Sue Lynn Blackbird, which isn't nearly as interesting as Tantu Cardinal. They changed the birds. Cameron Manheim, Michael Ealy. I think it's a very good cast. I
It's a very good
love
cast. It's just
Adrian
that
Martinez. I like Ansel. I don't mind Gray. I find
it's a good cast. It's just that the characters are boring to me most of the time.
Well, I don't find
except for Sue Lynn Blackbird.
I love her. I don't. And there's a lot about this. Takes place in Portland, Oregon, which apparently is called
Stumptown. Who knew?
Is it Portland, Oregon?
Yeah.
Yes, it's called Stumptown. That's for some reason or other. Maybe because it was all the trees were cut down. Lots of some of the primeval forest and stuff. Maybe that's why. So Kobe Smolder's character, Dex Perios, is an ex-Marine. She's having a little bit of trouble getting on her feet. She has a little PTSD. And so she decides to become a private investigator, and she actually is very, very good at it.
Though she never takes money from anybody.
Well, she does a few people. Yes, she does. But she starts off sort of the way I used to sell my photos to people I knew.
You still do.
I either give them away for free or give them the friends and family discount.
Now everybody's going to go on the website and try to get a photo.
No more friends and family discount. Anyway, she really has a knack for this. And because of her Marine background, she's very good at defending herself. She's very disarming, and that's how she gets a lot done. And she's very attractive. Anyway, it took me a little bit to really warm up to the show, but stick with it. It just gets better and better and better. It's very interesting. It's a lot of fun. There's a female assassin that she becomes entangled with.
Well, we don't know that. It was in one episode, and there was.
Well, you said you want to see a killing.
I say I want to see it. I don't know that it's there. It was there for one episode, a female assassin that she was involved with. And at the end, it kind of hinted to the fact that maybe she'll be coming back, and the next episode ignored it completely. So I'm just saying I want to see kind of a Killing Eve storyline between the two of them, because first of all, it was hot seeing them together.
They had fabulous chemistry,
and I find it to be. I would find it to be an interesting thread.
Yeah, me too. Anyway,
I'm not as in love with the show as you are. I like it, but I'm not as in love with it. And I think, again, the problem is that I don't care about anybody but her, really. So that's my problem.
Well, I do like the other characters. She is the only one I care about. But anyway, you and I often disagree. I watch a lot of shows by myself. Stumptown, Thursdays, ABC. So I wanted to mention Briarpatch, which I've only watched one episode of. I think there are 2 out there, third coming up on the 24th. Anyway, it's a very interesting noir-ish series. It's on USA, Monday nights at 10. It's very well done, and I can tell you that because when there was a commercial about 20 minutes into the show, I said, whoa, when did Netflix start commercials? It had a very polished, streaming kind of a tone to it. But it is USA, which I think is often very good. It was created by Andy Greenwald, and it stars Rosario Dawson in a part that in the novel that was a bestseller was a man. So I always want to give a special shout out to a show that takes a man and puts a woman as the lead, because we want to show that women can lead a show and make it successful. Rosario Dawson plays a very classy political fixer who comes back to her very weird little Texas border town because her estranged sister, who was a cop, was blown up, murdered with a bomb in her car. It's, again, as I said, it's very noirish. It's got a little touch of Twin Peaks. It's filled with characters. It's one of those things that I like. I grew up in a Texas border town. Much of it is familiar to me, even though everything is exaggerated. And in fact, when they talk about her eating a tamale, it sure looked like a falafel sandwich to me, but we won't, get into that. I liked it. I'm intrigued by it. Something very exciting happens towards the end of the last episode that really kind of changes everything towards the end of the first episode. I'd like to say they had me at the giraffes, but unfortunately the giraffes didn't come in till about 30 minutes into the show, so it had a slowish start for me.
Next time, people, put your giraffes in the first 5 minutes. I mean,
front.
really.
Come on. Anyway, I've lost my train of thought thinking about
the
giraffes.
one thing.
Yeah.
If you ever want to distract Mimi,
just
now
say
you know
giraffes. Rosario
Dawson.
Has up till now sort of played secondary characters, and I know from an interview I read she's very excited about leading a show. My problem with her character is that she's very buttoned up. She doesn't show a lot of emotion, and I find it boring. However, about 8/10 into the show, that changes.
Once the giraffes came in.
Even beyond the giraffes. By then I was already, this is nice. There's also a subplot that starts off right in the beginning. Someone has opened all the cages to the zoo, and of course one of the first things you see is a dead antelope in the middle of the street. I mean, the other thing is it's Texas, and there are dead animals on the walls everywhere. There's a very sort of a kind of a fun thing. The tiger is still loose. It does have some elements of...
hyperrealism.
Yeah, it's got some David Lynchian without being quite so intensely David Lynchian. But really, by the end of the show, which is why
the first episode, you mean?
Yeah, by the end of the first episode, I was hooked. I wanted to see more. The familiarity, certainly, of the place I'm drawn to. But... I'm usually not drawn to quirkiness, but it's not over the top in this, and I'm interested enough in the murder and what's going on. Also, Kim Dickens with a host of well-known secondary players and some guest stars make it interesting to me. I can't wait to see Kim. She plays a cop. I recommend it. If you think this is your thing, you think kind of a noirish, David Lynch-ish, female-led show, murder mystery is for you, I say give it a try. USA, Mondays at 10 o'clock. Briarpatch.
Okay, finally.
Finally.
And I left this for the end in case some of you want to tune out, though I hope many of you will want to stay with us. Because this is something that we feel very, very strongly about.
Very strongly.
Yeah.
To the day I die, I will feel strongly about it.
Yeah, but more specifically, rather than just the theme, how it's done in this case. This is a new docuseries, 4 episodes called Hillary. I just gave it away. Yeah. It's premiering on Hulu March 6th. I have a feeling that they're putting all 4 episodes on there at once. I hope that's what they're doing because they really should do that. They really should.
You shouldn't have to wait. You should be able to binge it.
It's not a
like
suspense thriller, right?
Yes, unfortunately.
It's directed by Nanette Burstein, who did an excellent job. And as the name suggests, there's only one Hillary that could be used with a one name.
They have a deck.
Yes. Who does she think
she is? Which is
a double entendre,
of course.
And this is about Hillary Rodham Clinton, and it's constructed brilliantly because it moves back and forth between, on one hand, going through her entire life from childhood and all the stages of her life, while juxtaposing it with the latest the election for president,
and
both the campaign and ultimately
interviews, compelling, amazing, candid interviews with Hillary herself.
And many of the people around her, including Bill, including a lot of her assistants and chiefs of staff and this and that, it so brilliantly manages to, first of all, had amazing access to behind-the-scenes footage.
I'll say.
That is very intimate. It had excellent archival footage, both from home movies and videos, and I don't know how they went through hundreds and hundreds of hours of interviews and all sorts of things, and of course interviews. Hillary herself, as well as Bill, are talking about things here that they've never talked about before.
Or if they've talked about them, they've never talked about them like this.
Right. I mean, this is very open and candid and honest and
kind of
vulnerable.
jaw-dropping at times.
Yes, and I think that they just felt, okay, you know what, we have nothing to lose anymore. We're not trying to put on pretenses for anything or any kind of facade we're not trying to please or appease. We're just going to finally talk about things.
Let us get our side out.
Exactly.
Let us show you who we really are and what you lost.
Especially for Hillary, because you do realize as you watch it just how many times she had to deal with shit thrown on her. And from year to year, she just learned to put on more walls and become more kind of mechanical about things, because everything she said, everything she did, everything she wore, everything
was criticized.
Yes.
Not just vetted and parsed. Criticized.
I mean, including making shit up and, wanting to throw her in prison and all sorts of things. So it's.
Well, that was Trump.
Yes, but
no
they
one
did.
Else said,
they called them murderers.
Yes,
okay, they accused them of murder.
Murdering Vince Foster.
So you see how. First of all, I don't even know how, just the tenacity that she had from 1 year to the next to just not say, okay, I'm going to go home, I'm going to close everything, pull the blinds down, and I never want to see a human life.
Island Life again. That we watch on HGTV where people buy their own, Island Life, yeah. Yeah, Island Hunters.
Yes.
That's what I would do. I would go somewhere buy an island in a beautiful sea and buy myself a gorgeous little island.
And I would go live there too, and she could be my president.
Oh, okay. Although I'd rather live somewhere without a leader, if you don't mind, if I'm going to own my own island. But I wouldn't mind living on the same island with Hillary and Bill.
Anyway, and then so she has to be so calculated about how she presents herself, and then they say, "Oh, she's so calculated and she's so cold and she's so."
There was no winning. The battle against the press and public opinion for her.
But let me tell you, in this docuseries, she's not calculated. She just says it like it is, and I love.
And she's so funny.
She's so brilliant in every way. And we watch this, and at the same time, my heart melts and my blood boils.
No, it's like a knife. To me, the whole series, really, I have to say, was like watching something that I loved and was compelled by with a knife in my heart.
Yeah.
That's the way I felt. And at the very end, the knife twists.
Yeah.
And
even though I felt that way too, I just wanted to spend time with her. I just wanted to sit there and spend time with her and see her and hear her story. I love that woman so much. I felt like I was going to explode.
Yeah, and unfortunately, we knew the way it ended. And,
well, it's not ended. Well, but I mean, she's still here, thank goodness.
Yeah, she's still here. But the way this particular story ends,
I know
we're living with the consequences of it. And
I know, but it's a must-see docuseries. Please watch it. It's called Hillary, March 6th on Hulu. And
who does she think she is?
Oh God,
she thinks she's
the goddess of the world.
Yes.
All right, so next weekend we're not going to have a podcast because I will be gone, but we are pre-taping a podcast that will be posted March 7th because we have more things that we're excited about that we had to wait until we were allowed to tell you about. So tune in March 7th, and we will talk to you then. Bye.
Bye.